Lewis Hamilton is going through one of the most difficult phases of his Formula One career. The seven-time world champion has started the 2024 season with a lot of challenges, and things didn't improve much at the Japanese Grand Prix. After a tough weekend in Suzuka, Hamilton finished only ninth, and his frustration was clearly visible during the post-race press conference. This result has left many wondering what is really happening with the Mercedes team, and whether Hamilton will be able to recover any time soon in what is his final season with Mercedes. Hamilton started the race in 7th place after managing to outqualify his teammate George Russell on Saturday. That performance had given some hope that he could fight for a better result in the race. However, things quickly turned difficult. Right from the start, the car didn't seem to be performing well. Hamilton had contact with Charles Leclerc at the second start, and he believes that this might have caused slight damage to the car, which then affected his pace. He explained after the race that he had a lot of understeer during the first stint, making it nearly impossible to turn the car properly into the corners. This issue made him so slow that he eventually asked his team over the radio whether he should let George Russell pass. The team agreed, and Hamilton gave way, clearly showing that he understood his limitations at that point in the race. It was not an easy decision for a driver of his caliber, but it demonstrated his awareness of the situation and his commitment to the team. One of the biggest problems during the race was tire performance. Mercedes had chosen to save 2 sets of hard tires for the race, hoping they would provide better consistency and durability. But the reality was far from that. The hard tires did not perform well at all. Hamilton said they were terrible, and he struggled a lot during both stints on them. He mentioned that if they had chosen to go with 2 sets of medium tires instead, things might have been different. The medium tires were clearly better suited to the conditions on the day. Hamilton didn't hide his frustration. He said that the car was pretty bad, and that he couldn't have done much more with what he had. It was one of those races where nothing seemed to go right. He also noted that hindsight made it look like the team should have kept the medium tires for the second stint, but the strategy chosen didn't allow for that. Overall, it was a very challenging day at the office for the British driver. The result in Japan leaves Hamilton with just 10 points after 4 races. That is far below what anyone expected from him at the beginning of the season. With Red Bull, Ferrari, and even McLaren looking stronger, Mercedes appears to be struggling to keep up. This situation has added extra pressure on Hamilton, who is preparing for a new chapter in his career with Ferrari, starting in 2025. At the same time, Carlos Sainz continues to shine in 2024. The Spanish driver finished 3rd in Japan, adding another podium to his name this season. He already has a win and 2 third-place finishes in the 4 races held so far. What is even more impressive is that he is consistently outperforming his teammate Charles Leclerc, both in qualifying and in races. The head-to-head score in races is now 3-0 in favor of Sainz. This strong performance has brought him within 4 points of Leclerc in the drivers' standings. Many people believe that Sainz is currently going through the best period of his career. His form in 2024 has been outstanding, and it makes some wonder what could have been if he hadn't missed the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix due to an appendicitis operation. Despite that setback, he has bounced back strongly and is proving to be Ferrari's most reliable driver at the moment. This is particularly interesting when you consider that Ferrari has signed Lewis Hamilton to replace Sainz for the 2025 season. The Spaniard is essentially driving for his future in Formula One, and he is making a strong case to remain on the grid, possibly with another top team. His consistent performances and ability to extract the maximum from the car have not gone unnoticed. Meanwhile, Red Bull had a strong weekend in Japan, with Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez securing a 1-2 in qualifying. This was the first time in a long while that Red Bull managed to lock out the front row, and it came as a surprise to many. Perez, in particular, impressed everyone with his pace. He hadn't qualified this high since the Miami Grand Prix in 2023, and it showed that he might be returning to form at a crucial time. After qualifying, Perez received a congratulatory message from Christian Horner, Red Bull's team boss. In response, Perez sent a curious radio message saying, "You know how you have to motivate me." This message has left many people speculating about what he meant. It could be a light-hearted reference to internal team dynamics, or it could hint at something deeper related to his contract negotiations. Perez's current contract with Red Bull expires at the end of the 2024 season, and his recent performances suggest he is trying to secure a new deal. Helmut Marko, Red Bull's advisor, praised Perez's performance in Japan. He said that the Mexican had done better than expected and that the updates on the car seemed to be working well. Marko also mentioned that Perez had started the 2024 season with a different attitude and was no longer trying to go his own technical way. Instead, he was aligning more with the team's setup direction, which has helped improve his performance. Marko also pointed out that the motivation to earn a new contract could be playing a big role in Perez's resurgence. He believes that the ongoing contract talks might be pushing Perez to perform at a higher level, knowing that his place in the team is not guaranteed. This motivation seems to be paying off, as Perez is now more competitive and closer to Verstappen than he has been in a long time. The return to form for Perez is good news for Red Bull, especially in a season where they face increasing pressure from McLaren and Ferrari. Marko mentioned that McLaren has regained its speed, and Ferrari remains a threat with strong drivers like Sainz and Leclerc. The battle at the top is becoming more intense, and having both drivers performing well is a big advantage for Red Bull. The situation at Mercedes, however, remains concerning. Hamilton's struggles are a reflection of the team's deeper issues. The car is not competitive enough, and the strategies are not helping either. There seems to be a lack of clear direction, and this is affecting both Hamilton and Russell. For Hamilton, it is especially disappointing, as he would have hoped to leave Mercedes on a high note. Instead, he finds himself battling for minor points, often stuck in the midfield with no real chance of fighting for podiums. The lack of performance is not only frustrating but also mentally exhausting. Hamilton is known for his fighting spirit, but even he seems to be running out of patience with the current situation. The Japanese Grand Prix was a clear example of this frustration. Hamilton's comments after the race showed how disappointed he was with the car and the strategy. He admitted that there was probably nothing more he could have done, and that the hard tires made things worse. The decision to let Russell through was another sign of his awareness that the team had to maximize the result, even if it meant sacrificing his own race. This kind of teamwork is admirable, but it also highlights how far Mercedes has fallen. A few years ago, they were dominating the sport. Now, they are struggling to make it into the top 5. The gap to the front-running teams is significant, and unless major changes are made, it's hard to see how they can close that gap anytime soon. For Hamilton, the move to Ferrari in 2025 is starting to look like a fresh start that couldn't come soon enough. But even Ferrari has its own challenges. Despite Sainz's strong performances, the team has struggled with consistency and reliability. Leclerc, once seen as the team's future leader, is now being outperformed by Sainz. The arrival of Hamilton might change the team dynamics once again, and it will be interesting to see how they handle that transition. As for Perez, his future remains uncertain, but if he continues to perform at this level, Red Bull might be tempted to keep him for another season. His message to Horner after qualifying could be a sign that he knows exactly what is at stake and is ready to fight for his place in the team. The 2024 season is shaping up to be one full of twists and surprises. With drivers fighting for their futures, teams trying to regain lost ground and rivalries heating up, there is plenty of drama both on and off the track. Hamilton's struggles, Perez's comeback, Sainz's dominance over Leclerc, and Mercedes's ongoing problems all make for a fascinating narrative. As the season continues, the pressure will only increase. Hamilton will want to prove that he still has what it takes, Perez will be looking to secure his seat, and Sainz will aim to show that Ferrari made